All right, all right. It says we are live. How you doing this evening, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great. How you doing?
Uh, upper bronchial infection, meds, and waiting for a Rona test to come back. But I'm gonna live. But it's not fun.
I bet.
So, but the show must go on, even though I feel like crap.
That's
But
that's that is dedication to the YouTube community right there.
yeah, yeah. They're asking about your hotel life.
Yeah, so I mean it's been in the hotel now for going on 2 weeks. It's not too bad. I mean it's manageable. It's unfortunate because we have the dogs and the kids and everything else. But a couple more weeks and then I'll be in the house. But just getting up, going to work, doing the same old things, and coming back to a hotel sucks. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was telling you earlier. I was like, kind of welcome to my life. You live out of a suitcase or out of a small little room or whatever for a week at a time. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, yep. It sucks,
So, but it'll
but
be
it's
good
better
when
than
you get.
living in a box.
That's true, and it'll be nice when you get the new place. So,
That's right.
make you appreciate it even more. So, anything fun and exciting other than the hotel life going on in your area?
Yeah, I picked up the old Archon Type B and the Glock 45, and just been dry firing them a lot. I put already the Apex trigger on the Glock. What a surprise! And it's kind of funny because right now, without shooting them, I just like the Glock 45. I just think that's such a great gun. I mean, but I'll be honest with you, the Archon's got a little trigger issue right now, so I'm gonna at some point take it out and give it a test run and see what's going on with it. Hopefully, it's maybe just a burr or something because it looks like the trigger shoe's rubbing on a piece of the interior polymer. So it may have to just be broken in a little bit when that trigger keeps hitting it. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But so far, I mean, it's a nice gun. But that's it. Nothing else. I've just been preoccupied with work and trying to make this work here with everybody. And but it's just a lot of dry firing practice. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I've been doing too. Maybe you could take a little X-Acto knife and go in there and kind of trim that out a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. I mean,
Maybe.
I was looking right where it's rubbing, and it's almost like you can see a piece of polymer sticking out a little bit, and it's just a weird, like a U notch, where it
Yeah.
is, and it seems like it's just kind of hitting it just a little bit. So it just gets stuck every once in a while.
Mm.
If you hold the gun vertical and you pull the trigger and you release the trigger slow, it'll actually keep the shoe back a little bit, and you have to like flick it forward.
Huh.
So not really sure, what that's about. But I already contacted them, but I haven't shot it yet. So I want to see, if I can ever find ammo, I'll go and shoot it and I'll see what happens. Like I said, maybe the metal on plastic contact will rub that spot down a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe it will. Hopefully it will. So, but I guess I have some questions that I have and that people have been asking. But did you see the Richmond, Virginia passes the sweeping ban on guns in public law?
I did not see that. I've been so out of the loop. So no.
Yeah, they pushed it through. It was kind of one of those little sneak attack things or those little deals where they dropped it. So basically, what it's saying is, ban on guns in public. And what they're probably trying to do are like for the 2A rallies. And then for like if they have any protesting, you can't carry guns. I mean, that's ridiculous, man. You know, I don't see a reason why in the world, because they haven't or they had. I mean, obviously they had an open carry law. So what now? You can't, you can open carry, but you can't. I mean, I don't understand how they're doing this, but it's just
Um,
more of that bogus BS going through.
Now that's just for open carry. That would not affect concealed carriers walking through stores and all that kind of
That's
stuff.
what, yeah, that's what I'm assuming. But they were pro open carry for a long time, but I have a feeling it's because of the 2A rallies and then this protest stuff. I think they're doing it for, so people won't come to that area with open rifles and, for the
Sure.
protesters and all that crap, just to try to say, oh, we're going to arrest you. However, they keep, in all these different areas, they keep trying to cut down their police force and
Right.
take away a lot of their powers. And, it's just, they're just letting people run wild.
Yeah. 2020 has been quite the year, man. I've know we said that a couple of times before,
Yeah.
but it just isn't letting up. I mean, it's just getting worse. And you look at the cities, like you said, and they're just poorly managed, poorly run, excuses galore. They blame everybody and everything except for their own poor leadership. And, I can't wait to see what happens November 4th, if we even have an election result by then.
Well,
it's just going to light it up even more.
I've been saying this, and I'm gonna say it publicly. I'll say it first time on this chat. Here's what I predict. I predict in a couple of weeks, or probably within a couple of weeks, Joe will come down with corona. He won't be able to attend, the debates, and then all of a sudden he'll miraculously pull through, and everybody will be like, "Oh, you're our hero," and he'll say, "Yeah, go vote for me." So, not saying that's going to happen, but that would be a way for him to try to get out of the debates.
Yeah, see, I think it's going to go the distance. I think there's two things that are possible happenings. One, they can't decide the election, so Nancy Pelosi becomes commander-in-chief until they do. And then the second possibility would be if Biden does win, he's in office for maybe a year to a year and a half before he becomes completely incapacitated with some sort of mental health issue or something, and then we have Kamala as president, because she's going to be the easiest person to pull the strings of. So I can see that happening very easily. And
I didn't even think it would be a year or a year and a half for that. I was thinking that it would be like within 6 months. They would say, "Oh, Joe's taking a turn. Here's this, here's that. Now she's in." Yeah. And I've said that before too, that this is the whole ploy, that they were getting her in there. And then, if he wins, Sanders is going to be, brought in. AOC is going to be brought in. I mean, they're going to have this whole little entourage of their people that they've pretty much promised stuff to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, like I said, it's going to be interesting. And I know there's a lot of people saying Trump will win by a landslide, but I think the biggest concern is going to be those mail-in ballots. There's no way to determine if you're sending them to the right people. You might, for example, I just moved. So who's to say that the person, oh, hi, honey, that's my wife in the background. If, for example, who's to say, like, the people who just bought my house get my ballots, and then I'm living at my house and I get my ballots, who's to say they don't vote a certain way and then take mine and do the same?
Yeah. And they've already, I think they found those ones in, where was it, Georgia? It was like 1,000 or something of these things, and they already found them. And, that's what I'm saying. It's just, if you can protest and you can do all this other stuff, you can go vote. Sure. I mean, so there's no ifs, ands, or excuses.
I agree. I mean, there are places opening up left and right. So why can't we vote? I'll wear a mask. I don't care. Give me some form of hand sanitizer before and after, and give us the ability to vote. I mean, it's not their choice. It's our choice.
Yeah, we have the freedom to vote. So, yeah, it's it's going to be interesting. So, and I put up a poll earlier on YouTube and also Instagram of asking people, how is their ammo stockpile? Are they happy with it? Do they need more ammo? How long, like, basically kind of how long are they good with everything, or are they scraping for every little thing they can get? And I'm not trying to be nosy or anything. And I know you're going through a move too, and I'm sure you have enough for what you need right now. But, it was just, I'd kind of like to find out from everybody, if they just if they're good, or they're still looking, or, are they like literally completely out? I mean, kind of where's everybody standing on that? If you want to share, you don't have to. It was just a question. And, the polls, of course, doesn't leave names. And I even put one on there that you just don't give a shit, either way. Mm-hmm. And I think that's got 3% vote. But, it's because I get hit up on Instagram all the time of like, hey, I can't find 9mm. Do you know where I can get it? Do you know this? Do you know that? And I try to help as many as I can, but the prices are just getting crazy on it right now. I mean, it's just insane. And my gun store has it, but they have a 4-box limit, per day. And it's still reasonably priced, especially for target ammo. So they're not price gouging or anything, but man, you go online and people are just raping people.
Yeah, I mean, there's no ammo here, at least not with my local shops. You know, when I picked up the 45 and the Archon, you know, we were talking about it, and he was saying that normally he could get cases of 9mm. So when his, you know, his distributor calls him up now, he says, just send me whatever you have. And then he's saying 9 out of 10 times he's getting maybe 3 or 4 boxes of 9, not even cases, boxes. I mean, he's a smaller shop.
Sure.
So that could be a possibility why, but even the bigger shops around me, you can't find it. And you get in there and they'll have 9mm for 5 minutes and then they're sold out already.
Yeah.
And it's not just 9 now. Now there's no 45. The 40 is the only thing that's left, and it's minimal. There's no 5.56 anywhere. There's no 7.62 anywhere. Just weird calibers, you know, things that people don't commonly use. And it's just, you know, you wonder what the hell's, when is this going to end? Is this going to be a 2-year run? Is this going to be a 1-year thing and done? You know, it has me concerned, and, you know, it's something I was actually going to do a video, even though it was going to be low budget, which most of my videos are, talking about, you know, did I make a huge mistake when it comes to handguns, because I only have one caliber, and that's 9.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting there saying to myself, man, I think I may have made a mistake only sticking with 9mm.
Yeah. Well, and handguns, you know, I mean, I have 22, 9mm, 45. I don't know what else I have. I probably have something else, but it's well, I do have some 40, but I don't own any 40s anymore. But actually, I have a lot of 40. But yeah, it's just crazy, you know, that, and that's one thing that I wanted to do was kind of have a few multiple calibers that I actually enjoyed. But you know, and that's, you know, like we've spoke about before, you know, load up for times like this, because this isn't the first time we've been through it.
Right.
We've been through it before, but you know, as much as like I shoot, maybe you shoot, you know, sometimes when you're out there shooting 400 and 500 rounds on a weekend of 9mm, you know, you're not really thinking about something like this. But I've always told myself since all this crap's happened that if I shoot 500 rounds, I need another 1,000. You know, I always want to have that extra cushion. So that's what I've been doing for years and years and years. So I'm good, but you know, could I always just have more? Yes. And if it happens to be there at a good price, I'm going to buy it. But you know, I don't have to go on a search and rescue mission to find it, because I'm not that desperate at all. But I have a feeling it's probably, like we've talked about before, I have a feeling it's probably going to go to the middle of next year, you know, at least. And the prices aren't going to come down to like, you know, $189 for 1,000 rounds like it used to be. I have a feeling it's probably going to settle around 300. You know, it's not going to be what we're used to or what we've been used to in the past. But, you know, I even had a question tonight, and, you know, you can chime in on this. You know, if you think about it, when all of this ammo was just laying around, you know, these places weren't ramped up to make tons and tons of ammo. And now all of a sudden, the bottom's falling out. We've got the new gun owners buying. We've got all the hoarders buying. So they've had to ramp up everything. They're low on primers. You know, there's only a handful of companies that even make primers. So now it's just turned in, you know, they've turned up to like 1,000%, you know, within a month. So now they're really trying to keep up, and they're focusing on 9 and 223 and 5.56. So not a lot of boutique rounds, and they're not really even making 22 because there's really not a huge demand for it. I mean, you know, as far as price wise, it doesn't make them money.
Right. But I think, you know, you know, looking at the current situation of everything, you know, in the country now, I think it's, you know, on a good year or in a good year, you're looking at maybe 1 or 2 shifts per day making ammo at a lot of these places. And then you have, you know, coronavirus, the outbreak, that gets bumped down to maybe 1 shift, plus the spacing, plus, you know, the social distancing and having to do all these things to keep people safe and maybe even possibly shutting down. And then you add into that fact that now you're cut down in half in regards to maybe your shift work, and then half your workforce, because you can't fit everybody there anyway on your first shift work. Yeah. And now the huge demand for ammo, it is like, it's like trying to, you know, break through a wall with a toothbrush. You know, I think that's what concerns me the most. I mean, I'm not concerned about, you know, necessarily self-defense ammo, but it's like the plinking ammo, you can't get it, just can't find it. You know, and somebody mentioned something about primers. Primers are extremely expensive right now. Yeah. You know, if you want to talk price gouging, it's not just on ammo, it's on primers. The die cast you can't find. They're pretty much gone. So it's a lot of problems. It's not just one singular thing. It's a combined thing with Corona, with the lack of production, or even the lack of demand for production right away. Now everything's in such high demand, you can't ramp up the production fast enough.
Yeah, and if you think about, I think Winchester makes, Winchester CCI and stuff makes primers, but they make them now. They're just putting it all to their line, of them making the ammo. They're not just saying, "Hey, we're going to sell them," and if they do, they're giving limited, things to people, and of course, those places are charging like stupid, crazy prices.
Yeah,
I did see a normal box of primers normally are like $20, and they're going for like $200 and something, $240, and I was just like, "Whoa, that's crazy!"
Yeah. Who knows when it's going to end? But it's definitely making you feel a little weird.
Yeah, and that's if you haven't prepared, prior to this one. I know that like some people are saying, Keith Gregory, this is his first ammo shortage, because he's been into guns for about 5 years. And we do have a lot of newer people that haven't been through this, Sandy Hook and all this other crap that we've been through. So, use this. It's definitely a learning experience. If you haven't been through this before, whenever you're, this kind of comes out and we're able to find it and stuff like that, and, you're able to buy it, I would definitely, buy multiple thousands of rounds of your preferred caliber and keep it on hand. If you're able to. And I know some areas you can't do that, but even if you're just starting, like we've talked about before, go in somewhere, buy 4 boxes, that week, or 5 boxes the next week, buy it as you can, and just kind of start building up some stock that way. So, hopefully you won't ever end up like this. So, but, and then also let's talk about some new guns.
Let's.
All right. Have you heard about the Rock Island XT22 Magnum?
Yeah, I've got no interest in that.
Yeah. Well, I really don't either.
Get out of the camera, woman. Get out of that camera.
Hey, you're in a limited space right now.
I know.
She's not
Stay on your side of the damn room, would you?
Yeah.
I'm a professional here.
Yeah. She could carry a towel and just walk through like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah. She's going to embarrass me.
Yeah, the Rock Island XT22 Magnum. It's a 22 Magnum. It's kind of like a 1911. It's 15+1, and they did I was reading an article about it, and they did a 25-yard test with these different ammos, and at 25 yards, it was averaging 2.4 to 2.7 inches for the groups they were shooting, which isn't too bad. And a lot of people are like, 5.7 this, 5.7 that, and really a 22 Magnum is nothing to joke about. I mean, it's a pretty intense round, and it's fun to shoot. But I didn't see a price on it. I think they had an MSRP, but I don't think I paid attention to it. But I was just thinking, if someone wanted a higher capacity 22 Magnum, if you're recoil sensitive or something like that, that might be something to buy. Hell, it might be as much as a 5.7. Like I said, I didn't look. But I'm not a huge Rock Island fan, and I don't know how. It's weird also the way that they make the barrel. It looks like a 45 barrel, and then it has a spring that goes on another barrel, and that barrel goes inside of that barrel. So I was like, that's kind of strange, but.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think who also has a barrel like that is, and it's been a while, I haven't had that gun in a while, but the Walther Creed had a barrel that was similar to that. It was almost like a barrel within a barrel. Yeah. So there was a lot of discussion as to whether or not over time that's going to start to split the way they rolled the barrel. So, I don't know. Yeah, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, and then Wilson Combat has a new line called the Imperior, or Experior, I'm sorry. And it's kind of a more, dominant looking type beast of a 1911. It's a pretty nice looking gun.
Yeah, I'm sure it costs the same as a car. But.
Yeah, I'm sure. And then, we were talking about this before. The Sky Firearms, came out with the DVG-1 and the DVG-1RD, and those the new Sky Striker fire. It's got the flat trigger on it, and then one of them has a red dot. Crimson Trace,
Mhm.
and they are shipping now. It's 10+1 with the red dot. It's $389 MSRP. So street price, hell, might even be $299 or something. Who knows? But somebody that's wanting to get into red dots, that might be an option to try. I don't know the reliability of the Crimson Trace. It hasn't been out that long. I know they're owned by Smith and Wesson now,
Mhm.
so that might be something to try. But the trigger in the regular Sky, that heavy double action thing, was god awful. So the Striker Fire one, they're saying it's like a 5 to a 5.5 pound trigger, so it might not be too bad. Especially at that price point. I don't know about reliability. It's new, but you know.
Yeah, everything is good until it blows up in your hand. So
Yeah,
we'll see
yeah.
how that plays out.
Or it doesn't work. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah. But yeah,
Although,
and go ahead.
although when you think about it, you could spend a lot of money on a handgun and then you immediately have problems with it.
Yeah.
It's, sometimes you wonder if it's just a crapshoot or if it's just bad luck or what it is. Sometimes you buy a gun and it's got a million reviews and they're all somehow great, and then yours just is a big old turd.
Yeah. No, it's happened to me before. Bought an expensive pistol, AR pistol, and I had problems with it. Pretty quick, but it got fixed. It's also how they handle it and things like that too. If you buy it and then you just get the big runaround, where you don't hear back from them, that's one thing. But so there, anything can happen. If it's built, it can break. So. But let's see here. And somebody who was asking that earlier, it was Ranger. He was wanting to know what everybody does, I guess, for a living or something.
Yeah.
Do you want to say what you do?
Sure. Yeah, I have no problem saying that. I'm a superhero.
Yeah. Okay.
I roam the streets at night and I avenge the people who cannot avenge themselves. You may better know me as Batman.
Yeah. Ooh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I make special movies in dark rooms. Um, so in the adult business, that's what I do. So
No, Pete, I'm not a teacher.
yeah,
He's always said that. I am not a history teacher. I just know history.
he just knows history. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, it's called reading a book or two or three or four.
Yeah.
I like to read. I'm very smart, so I like to read books.
Yeah. Get your learning in. But and then and this kind of goes out to some people out in the chat and stuff. Due to the ammo, less ammo and things like that. And I've been asked this too. Am I shooting competitions and stuff like that still? Since there is this ammo, less ammo to be found. And my answer is no. I'm not shooting any matches. I'm shooting to stay proficient and not using as much ammo, of course. But I was just curious, people out there, if they are, still shooting matches all the time, and if it's just like nothing's changed, or if they have cut back on some matches. And this even goes for the reloaders also, with the primers and stuff like that. I know people can buy bullets and, they found a lot of that kind of stuff, and they probably have their brass to reload. But, as far as primers, are y'all doing as much shooting as you normally would be? Just curious to know. Pistol Pete apparently is saying I'm in sales. Oh, so I make the movies and then I sell them. That's what it is.
He sells Skittles.
Yeah. Skittles are awesome.
See, Kim apparently is a mercenary.
Yeah.
He gets paid to kill stuff. So congratulations. That sounds like a good. That's the type of profession I'd like to get into, actually.
Oh boy, Wilden Well Armed is saying they're playing a Joe Biden commercial. He had to watch the commercial before he could come onto the chat.
Yeah, I would just skip that ad.
Yeah, I would blow right through that thing. But yeah, it's it's really weird out there right now because it's the not knowing.
Sorry, but I hate to cut you off, but we also have an amateur gynecologist in the room. That's funny.
Oh no, where did it go? Oh, there it is, right there. No, I think he's asking us if that's what we are.
Maybe 20 years ago I was, but
Yeah.
not anymore.
Just practice a lot. Channel Cat saying is going to shoot my last Steel Challenge match this month. Yeah,
Like your
that's
last
cool.
for good or just your last for the month?
Could be for the season, due to the weather changing and stuff too. And that's, I've talked about that too, even with him personally. Like the Steel Challenges, that's a perfect opportunity to shoot a 22 pistol. I mean, there's guys out there just killing it with the 22 pistols in the or the Steel Challenges. And that's one thing that I have and I'm sure he does too, tons and tons of 22 ammo, and they're fun as hell to shoot. I've got like 3 of those 22s, and I really enjoy shooting them.
Pistol Pete would be a volunteer gynecologist, so
Yeah,
that's good.
yeah.
And then Kathleen is she's going to be hiring for Antifa. So if anybody's interested in that organization, I hear they're really good at protesting, guys. So you might be into that.
Yeah, they like to burn stuff. Oh, and one of them caught themselves on fire the other day. You see
Yeah,
the one where he caught on fire?
His little tap dance.
Yeah, it was funny when they added the Michael Jackson music to it.
Yeah.
He said for the it's for the season they're stopping it and then they're going to archery.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. A lot of those are very seasonal too. Some of them will have them all year long, but especially the indoor places, they'll do a lot of those steel challenges and stuff too, in some areas. But anything that's fun and exciting that you've been checking out, or anything you've heard about that you're interested in?
There really hasn't been. I mean, I've been looking at 1911s and 2011s quite a bit. I'm thinking of pulling the trigger at some point on one of those. I'm just not sure where or what direction I'm going in. But more importantly, obviously price is going to be a big factor in all that. I mean, the 2011s are really nice, but they're just extremely expensive, no matter which one you look at. So to kind of go in between, so maybe you guys can give me, and Balding Curious, this is Dunkin' Donuts in Russia from where you're from, but this is actually Daredevil, okay? Don't knock Daredevil, by the way. But anyway, what the hell was I saying now that Balding Curious interrupted me?
1911s, and you're
looking so one of the ones I was looking at was a Bul Armory. There've been some reviews on the lightweight. So I'm thinking about that one. But and that's manageable price wise. Or I could look at a 1911 that's higher end in the same price range. So I don't know. And he's right. Who said that? Why go 2011 in New York? And that's true. I mean, the capacity is only 10, and you can probably get a nice, good 1911 9mm with 10 rounds. So I don't know. I don't know where I'm at right now. I sent the Ronin back to Springfield, and it was a great gun. I really enjoyed shooting that gun, and I think that's kind of whet the appetite a little bit more for it. But fortunately, they are sending another one to review, and I've done it in the past, but this one's a little bit more unique. And I'm not telling you what it's going to look like, but I can't wait. I'm psyched, and I might actually wind up buying it from them if I enjoy shooting it enough.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That might be the one you get. But,
yeah.
I think it would be cool to have, like we've talked about before, the STI Duo, where you can put the dot on it, things like that. I know with capacity in your area, that would suck, but, I think it would be a great gun. And I know that they're not super cheap, but, you want to buy something that's, that's definitely will work. And I've heard really good things about the Bul Armory, guns. So, and the prices are even better. I know they have the SAS, the smaller one, where it's more of a compact, and it's got the comp, and it's got the, it's a built-in comp. So that might still fly in your area. It's not a screw-on comp, and it's not a threaded barrel. But, you can put the dot on it, or you can get it without a dot. That might be something to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Len Holt is asking if you've heard of Cabot 1911s.
I have heard of them, and I hear they're extremely expensive.
Yeah, they are. They're super nice, but they are expensive. Very expensive. But
I mean, they're just, and if I was going to get a 1911 or 2011 or whatever, I would definitely want to do one where it's not a full size, it's not a government issue, government model, something a little bit more carryable. But I'm finding that as I look at the ones that I like a lot, I look at their price. I'm like, holy shit, that's expensive, you know, and that would take a few months of saving to do. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Like I said, I've got the 2 guns I just got today or yesterday, and I'm not reviewing anything for probably another 2.5 to 3 weeks. So that's going to kind of take a back seat for a little while. Then I actually have another gun coming in, and then I also have the Nomad Defense lower for my Gen 4 Glock. So, I mean, those 4 things alone, you're not going to see anything for another month. So I have time to make a decision. So I'm not in any rush.
Yeah. Yeah. And heck, you don't have to be, you know, you still have a bunch of guns you'll need to shoot and go through those and review those. And that gives you time to look. And then plus when you get the other one, that might be the one that you want that they're sending you. So, you know, nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I mean, in your world, you know, you could get a 1911 N45 and you could have the 10 round, you know, 10 plus one, or the 1911 with a 9mm and just run a 10 round mag too. So, you know,
yeah. So the Bul Armory, the one I was looking at is the I forget what it's called. It's the something 2, but it's yeah, the SAS2, and it's almost size. Well, it's basically almost the same size as Glock 19.
Yeah,
carries 15 rounds in a free state. It's a short gun, 3-inch barrel. You know, so it's got a little bit of a shortness to it, I guess you could say. But just looking at it, it's very nice. It's a nice looking handgun. The reviews have been fairly positive. I've only seen one guy who reviewed it, and he was saying that he was having some failures with certain types of ammo. But I think it was Winchester White Box, which doesn't ever surprise me when you hear that. So his take was that it should run any ammo no matter what. And, you know, that sounds great in theory, but we know that that's not necessarily the truth for most guns, you know? So, well, I shouldn't say most, some guns.
Yeah. And Will Arm has the SAS2.
The Viper. Yeah, that's sweet. That's a nice gun too.
Yeah. And I watched his review on it, and, you know, I've seen other reviews, and that's the one that I thought was pretty cool because it's really small, but it's a double stack. And, you know, now they do take proprietary mags, so you can't use those mags in them. But still, I mean, I don't know how much their mags are. I haven't really priced just their mags. But, you know, and I think they're pretty reasonably priced. I think that gun is, with the dot and everything, I want to say it's like $17.99 or $16.99 or something. So it's not too bad. You know, for a double stack.
For me, that's pretty bad.
Well, I'm saying it's not a $4,000 one either.
So, well, I mean, you know, I try to take all of the thousands of dollars I get from YouTube to invest back into the channel by getting newer, higher end guns. Yeah. So that's why it's just coming so easy for me. But you know, it's like like I said, I've been saving up. You know, I've got some money put aside right now. You know, I do make some money off YouTube. I've never lied to anybody saying that, but I don't do it off of sponsorships. I do it off of viewership, you know? Yeah. So the more people watch, the more money I make a month, and that's great. So I don't know. I probably could go this month and next month without buying anything, and then probably have enough to be able to buy something decent, you know? But I'm not sure unless something else comes out that I'm really interested in. You know, the new 43X MOS and the 48 MOS has kind of, you know, caught my eye, but then I looked at it more and I'm like, nah, I'm just, I still just am not sold 100% on optics. I'm just not. I mean, yeah, they're good and they're fun, but I just am not 100%, never will be probably until I go blind. But at the same time, having that flexibility is always helpful. But I mean, right now, there's just nothing out there that I look at and say, man, that's something I definitely want. I mean, I will say that the Glock 45, I've been playing with that more than the Archon, which is pretty interesting because I just like the fit of that 45/19X in my hand. There's just something about it, the way it feels in my hand, that just hits all cylinders the way it should.
Yeah, well, that's what I've said about the 19X, which is similar to the 45, but the grip's just a tad longer because of that front tab. But yeah, they're great. I mean, for Glocks, that's my favorite one. You know, if I didn't have the 19X, I would probably, or custom 19X, I'd probably have the 45. Yeah. You know, so it just kind of fits all the boxes, the MOS. You know, and I'm not a fan of the MOS because I know they can have some problems with the plates breaking and things like that. But, you know, it is what it is. So, Yeah, and Dan O'Neill's saying he's had good luck with Winchester White Box. I've had some problems with some guns in the past, and also have had problems with like some of it being underpowered. Like you'd shoot it and it'd just be kind of like poof, and then the next one might be normal. It's not a lot, but I was probably saying that's probably that and Blazer Brass are probably been my two that I've had issues with.
Really? Yeah, I've never had any issues with Blazer Brass at all. Even steel casing, I've never had any issues with them. I personally, my favorite ammo to shoot is S&B. I love it. I think that's some of the best 115 grain ammo out. I just think it's great.
And see, I really like Fiocchi. I've never had any problems with Fiocchi. And this is, and I have been asked this. What do you think? Well, where did it go? It's right here. What do you think of the FK BRUNO and the caliber conversions? That's that new, what is it? The 7.5 or something.
That was the one Honest Outlaw reviewed just recently. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of cool in a way, but then when you get a closer look at the gun, it's kind of interesting. FK BRUNO, the first gun they came out with, I thought was cool. I mean, the thing looks like just a tank of a gun. It shoots like a cannon. And then the new one, it looks like it's almost from like a retro gun safe, like it came out from 1975 or something like that. It doesn't do anything aesthetically for me. Maybe it shoots great, maybe you can convert it and all that other great stuff, but it just didn't seem like it was a gun that would interest me, so to speak, as opposed to the first one they came out with.
Yeah. Now, I put my hands on the first one. I actually played with it. I didn't get to shoot it, but a store had it. They carry some really high, it was in Houston. Carry some really crazy things, and with that rear peep sight and stuff, and just the way the gun fit in the hand, I mean, I was like, this thing's freaking awesome. But it was also like 12 grand or something. It was something 10.5. It was something crazy, but no, it was like 8,500. But either way, it was expensive. And the new polymer version is supposed to be like 2 grand or something. And also it does have the conversion. It comes, I think it's a 10 millimeter and like a 40 caliber or something. It comes with some conversions. So I think that's really a cool option, as far as if you wanted to get one handgun that would shoot 3 calibers, that would be really cool too. And I mean, I'm sure it's a tack driver, and hell, it'll take down, any animal in North America from a freaking pistol. So that's not a bad option either. But, I think it's cool. But you're right. It does have a much cheaper look to it, but they're trying to cut the cost of what that all steel gun was too. And that all steel gun was a freaking beast. It's heavy. It's a big boy. But yeah, and like matter of fact, with CZ, that S&B is their ammo of choice that they do all of their testing with. So when you look at your sheets, it'll say tested with S&B 124 grain.
Right.
It's that's what they prefer.
Interestingly, I tried to type in "hell no" on the chat, and it blocked me from typing that in.
Doesn't surprise me.
That's a bad word, apparently.
Yeah, you can't say hell. So, I got a question. Did you get rid of your Phantom?
Nope, still got it. Actually, it's somewhere very close.
Okay,
that's
there you go. All right.
One of my favorite CZ. It's definitely one of my favorite CZs. Obviously P01s are my favorite, but it ranks right up there.
Yeah, there's the best bags in the business. Links Defense.
That's right.
I need a pistol bag or a rifle bag. He is the man.
So I just want to say this quickly about the bag that I've got from Links Defense. So when I was moving out, I needed some place to store a lot of my miscellaneous ammo. So I stacked, I can't even tell you how many rounds of 7.62 in that bag. And it didn't rip, didn't shred. That shit is carrying a lot in it. And I was impressed. I was even more impressed now than I've been in the past, because I was like, this thing's going to break. And it's rock solid, man. Rock solid.
Yeah. I put so much crap in mine with pistols and ammo and everything else that, I mean, when I put the strap on my shoulder, I was walking like, an 80-year-old man. I was like, holy shit, I can't believe you can carry this much crap, but it can. My other bag, my cheap bag, would have blown the strap off of it for sure.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. And the thing weighed like 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
I said, all right, this is gonna fall and wind up all over the floor. And sure enough, man, it's held up really well. Really well.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was bending my big ass over. That's for sure. Did you ever hear anything from the Caracol guys?
So interestingly enough, I figure I'm just going to talk about it now and just move on. So I actually reached out to them a few months ago, kind of just seeing what was going on because everything went kind of dark for quite a while. So I couldn't reach the original guy I spoke to, who is the head of Caracol USA. And so I wound up emailing their marketing guy and explained to him the situation that I've emailed so-and-so so many different times and I haven't heard anything back. And I said, listen, if I can't get the gun back, so be it. But I need them to give me something in writing saying that they now have it so I can remove it off my license. So I kind of got a little nasty in the email. Well, not too nasty. It was respectful, but a little bit more forceful, I guess you could say. And so automatically I get an email from the main guy saying, "Oh, I don't know what was going on. We weren't receiving any of your emails." Really interestingly enough, though, he received that email. So I just wound up emailing him about a month ago, and again, no response. And so, as far as I'm concerned, I think the relationship with Caracol is officially over. I just don't know how the hell I'm going to get that gun off my license because they just don't respond to anything. And my hopes for ever recovering that handgun are pretty much zero. And unless something changes abruptly, I would absolutely stay away from them with a 20-foot pole, man. It's just not worth it. It's a very huge disappointment, especially with a Bubitz type gun. But it's a damn shame. So we'll see. Like I said, if something changes, I'll let everybody know. But right now, it's done.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're dead in the water. So,
Mhm.
but they still need to send you that letter. Here's a good
Yep.
question. Either of you, and I talked about this last week on the chat, either of you have an opinion of the Daniel Defense? They bought the Hudson H9 or they're thinking about it.
All that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of interesting. I mean, the Hudson's a nice looking gun. That would be a gun I'd be interested in as long as it shoots well and there's no issues. I know they were looking at making a polymer version of it,
Yeah.
but they went defunct before that could happen. So I mean, if they ever went like maybe a lightweight or kind of an aluminum type version, I'd be all over that.
Yeah, and that's what they put on their thing. They put the polymer version and the other one. Would you buy them? If they took them on, or if they came out with them, would you buy them? And my whole concern was, I remember when Hudson came out with it, and I played with it. I never got to shoot it, and I know KS had some issues with his, but it's one of those things where, okay, would they keep it for a while, kind of like what Hudson did? And if they don't sell, are they just going to discontinue them and then people will be stuck with those? And like I brought up last week, Hudson, when they went out of business, they had people's guns that the people had bought and they were in there for customer service, to get repaired. And when they went belly up, those people didn't get their guns back.
Right.
And Hudson's going to buy that nightmare, because I guarantee you there's probably, I don't know how many people there were, but from what I heard, it was a lot of guns in there. So are they going to replenish those people guns? Because if you kind of buy the shit, you got to handle the shit.
Right.
That's my opinion. So
unless when they signed over their rights, they relinquished any type of what's the word I'm looking for?
Stuff that happened in the past. I know what you're talking about, but
yeah, I mean, I can't. Would you buy a company that went belly up and had millions of dollars of people's shit and everything else?
Yeah, well, and that's what I'm saying. It's all how you write the contract, but just that whole, like if that would have happened to me, I damn sure wouldn't buy a new one. I'd be like, nope, I'm out on that deal. Kind of like your deal with Caracol. They've had your gun forever and you hadn't heard crap from it, and that's kind of what happened to these people with Hudson. So I don't know that, I thought it was cool when it first came out. I was like, hey, this is kind of different. It feels good in the hand. The trigger's not bad. But then it kind of, even before KS had issues with his, it kind of just went to the wayside for me. I've heard people say that it'll only run, it's kind of finicky on ammo. You can run like 200 rounds of ammo, and then you have to like really decarbonize the barrel, because either it's a super tight lockup or it really holds a lot of carbon for the precision type barrel that it has. I don't want one that's that damn finicky. That would remind me of the old Walther 380s or the Walther 22s. You run 100 rounds and you got to clean the barrel or run a snake through it, but I wouldn't be interested in that. So But Lynn is talking about red dots, as your eyes get older and stuff like that, and I've got aging eyes, of course, too, and stigmatisms. So I really, since I've adopted the dot, I guess hardcore for like a year and a half now, I can still shoot iron sights. I shot them not too long ago just to try it. But I much prefer the red dot. So I guess he had to take care of something, but I'm definitely a red dot person for sure. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, my wife had to walk past the camera, so she's like, "Shut it off." She just her hair is not done. She doesn't look fancy, so.
Yeah. Doesn't want to get all fancied up.
I don't blame her. It's getting late,
Yeah. Anything, and I know you're talking about getting in the house in the next couple of weeks or whatever. But and I know it'll take you a while to get all that set up too. But do you think you'll do any shooting in between now and then? Are your ranges open?
It depends. It's kind of hard right now because of the situation. Living conditions are fine. I'm not losing sleep. I mean, we have 2 rooms. They're adjoined rooms. It's very nice. There's a stove and an oven in the other room, so we can actually cook dinner and have real meals. The problem is right now is that the kids are starting full-blown seasons and everything. So my daughter's now playing softball and soccer. My son's lacrosse season in Jersey is starting up soon again for fall. So it's like there's just no time, plus work. So I'm working long hours again right now. And so right now it's just kind of up in the air. I think at some point I'd like to be able to take it out, but I can't see doing anything meaningful for at least another 2.5 to 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's one. Any input on the Viper or Vortex Viper red dot?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I had one. I liked it. Yeah. That's kind of a lower profile than a Hollow Sun, if that means anything to you.
I've played with one before. Can't remember. Oh yes, I did shoot one. It wasn't my gun though, but I did shoot one, and it worked fine for me. The only thing I've heard about it is, excuse me, shooting it a lot. Hang on. That bronchial stuff kicking up. I've heard of people shooting it a lot, even some of the pro shooters who are sponsored by Vortex, and multiple ones failing during hard use. Matter of fact, there is a guy that's sponsored by Vortex, and he was shooting that on his gun, and he has switched over to a Trijicon SRO because he did have too many failures on his Vortex. But, I mean, who knows? I don't know. I guess you can get a good one and a bad one, so who knows?
Right.
Hello, Humble's in the house. Yeah, and that's one thing, Mark's saying this too. Good luck with the move because it's always a pain in the butt moving.
Yeah, I mean, moving out was terrible. Moving in hopefully will be a little easier. But it's just like I said, it's part of the process, but it's going to be a worthwhile process in the end. Like I said, I'll actually have a real room to work in as opposed to a tiny closet. So I can't complain. I mean, the only thing that pisses me off about living in hotels is, one night everything is nice and quiet and peaceful. You get a good night's sleep. Then of course, there's 4 floors where I'm at, and I'm on the damn 3rd floor because they didn't have rooms available on the 4th fucking floor. Yeah. And so you just get fucking assholes living above you. And it's no matter how hard is it to not decide to run and jump and shit and play your music at full blast in the middle of the night? Like, just be civilized, man. Fucking shut your shit off. So that's my rant about hotel.
Yeah, Channel Cat's making fun of me saying, do I have COVID? And I am actually had to get tested for it. I do not know the results yet. So I don't know. Should find out tomorrow or Friday. So hopefully not, but I'm not going to die either way.
It makes you feel any better. I've had 2 tests and mine have both come back negative. So that's always good.
Yeah, I've had people in hotels, literally, it sounds like they're moving furniture.
Yeah, this past weekend, that's what it was like. There must have been a family of 75 people upstairs. And I mean, every night and they had kids. So all you heard was boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, oh my God, this is driving me insane. So the faster I get out of here, the better I'll be in the long run.
Last week when I was in the hotel, there was a roofing companies out in this area because I guess they got hit by hail. And so there were a bunch of roofing guys, and it was a nice hotel, but the guy next to me had his door open, and then his buddy was at the end of the hall, two buddies on those rooms, and they were yelling down the hallway in Spanish. And I mean, not just quiet, they were screaming to each other. And I'm like, the rooms are 12 feet away. You could walk.
Oh, I know, man.
And I was just like, and I could hear guzzling beer cans and crushing them. I mean, you know, some of the walls are paper thin, so you can literally hear everything people are doing.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it's a nice, like I said, it's a nice place, but it's just some people are just dumb as shit, you know, and it's kind of sad, but it is. Look, it's a hotel. It's not your house.
Yeah, hotel life, man. It does suck. I definitely understand that. But yeah, we've got about 10 minutes. So if people want to throw out some last minute questions, we will try to answer them, because I think my voice is fixing to give out. So I haven't really spoken all day to try to save up for this. But
yeah, Humble is saying he used an Airbnb. We actually looked at them. The problem is the state of New York right now is having a mass exodus of people from New York City. And so they have officially rented anything and everything they could find here. So by the time we were ready to rent, there was literally there's nothing. You can't rent anything here. Then I also have two dogs, and I didn't want to put my dogs in a kennel for a month. You know, I got one old dog, and that would have just not been fair. And this hotel happens to take dogs. So, you know, it just was a bunch of different obstacles that we had to go through. And this was the only thing we could get. Believe me, if I could have found a nice home to rent for a month, I would have been much happier, but we just couldn't. And then, you know, then there's the issue of they want first month and last month and all this other crap. Then they want to do a credit check. And when you're going to buy a house, obviously they pull your credit, and basically you don't want anybody else pulling your credit, because then it lowers your overall scores, because they may have to pull it twice. So that was another issue. So there's all these things that went on, and this was the best we could do. But like I said, you know, my kids are here because their school hasn't started. They don't start until October now, because they're doing online learning. And so we felt this was the best set of rooms we could get. So we said, let's just do it.
Sure. What's your thought on the 22 TCM versus the 22 Magnum?
I don't really have any, because I've never really shot a 22 TCM. They look kind of nice with the fireballs that come out of them.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't know. Like, I've never been a fan of just anything 22, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to shoot them, but I don't know. There's better things out there, I think.
Yeah, I've shot the 22 TCM, which was the conversion. I guess it was a Rock Island. It was the 9mm/22 TCM conversion, and it was cool. But man, it definitely throws out some fireballs. I mean, it's not like it's a hard recoiling gun or anything, but just for your ammo, if you're trying to find ammo, TCM is pretty hard to find, especially now. I'm seeing a lot more 22 Magnum available versus 22 TCM, because there's many manufacturers who make the 22 Mag. Not very many make the TCM. So out of those two, I would go 22 Mag personally. They both can have their issues with feeding, so I would get a reputable ammo brand if possible, but that's just my opinion. Let's see, there was somebody else. Is the 507K available yet? I have seen people getting them in periodically, but they sell out the second they get them in, or they've already got, you know, a pre-order on it. So, and the 407 is out. I think I've seen a couple of those in the wild, but you know, out of the two, I would take the 507, so you get those two other reticles, but that's just my opinion. What do you think about those?
You know, they're cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's another fancy gadget, you know. I mean, it's you know, I think obviously they made some upgrades to their older ones, so they look nice. But I mean, if you have an older one, just keep it if it works.
Yeah.
You know, what are you really trading off? You know, I don't think you're trading off much, to be honest with you.
Well, those are those little single stack ones, you know, the smaller ones. But one thing I'm not impressed with is the Trijicon RMR CC, you know, which is the little skinny one. You know, that window is even tinier than the regular RMR, and I was kind of like, I know they're going to sell, but I was just like, you know, I would take the 507 or even a 407 over the window size of the Trijicon. Now, of course, I like the American-made Trijicon, but you know, they're also, gosh, I think they're going for like $599 or something, $560.
That's just ridiculous. I'm sorry.
I mean, I guess it depends on what you're going to use it for and what you prefer, So, let's see here. Here's one. If Trump wins second term, do you think AR prices may drop, or gun prices in general, or will they stay up with all the unrest in certain parts of the country?
Well, I think he answered his question with that second part.
I think when all of this calms down, gun prices are going to come back down, and you're probably going to be able to find them.
Yeah.
But yeah, with all.
Yeah, I mean, he's been president for 4 years. We didn't see a huge, massive uptick in price until all the social unrest started. So until that social unrest is gone and forgotten, the price is going to stay up. Yeah. And honestly, it's only going to go further up with the election coming up.
Yeah, I agree with that. Even your low price, budget, which were budget ARs, like your M&Ps and things like that. I mean, I've been seeing and I've got two M&P AR-15s that I bought way back when. I've never even opened the box. I bought them for kind of this exact thing, not to sell, but just to have. And I remember what I paid for them. They were like $400 and something. And now that exact same gun is $720.
It's funny too, because, you guys know I sold that Marlin for just ridiculous money. But at the same time, I'm always looking on Gunbrook always, and I'm trying to, project, or at least try to see where prices are headed. And it seems like a lot of the prices have kind of hit a peak, and they're now starting to kind of come down a little bit. A good example is, if you looked at Glocks about 3 weeks ago, they were going for, $700, $800. A Glock 19 Gen 5 I saw in there for $750. Now they're starting to come back down to earth, So maybe that's a good sign. Maybe they're just having a lot more inventory. Yeah. I think if you were going to buy and sell, the best time probably would have been 3 weeks ago. I think that's when it hit its highest peak in price. And now it seems like they're kind of coming down a little bit, which I think is good overall for all of us. There's some that are still, ridiculously overpriced. But a lot of times, I'm seeing now that they're starting to kind of really just level off and come down a little bit, which is, I think, a good sign.
Yeah, and I've got 2 custom projects that have been in the works for, probably 4.5 months now. Mm-hmm. And still all of the parts haven't came in, because trying to get barrels, trying to get these little parts that you could normally find, man, everybody's on back order or that. So, it's pushed that project way the hell behind. So it's, we're kind of at everyone's mercy, It's not like I need those, but we'd been talking about doing it for a long time, and so I said, let's do it. And then all of a sudden, Corona hit.
Yeah. And I think even Scott's making a good point. He's selling his PTR 91. I think honestly, what you're seeing prices really just jump up to still is shotguns, any long rifle, because, especially in the state of New York, majority of people don't have their handgun license. And so in order to get a quick fix, they're buying anything that looks long, deadly, and has a trigger on it, including muskets and all kinds of stuff. So whatever they can get their hands on is what they're buying. So, like I said, if you want to sell a rifle, come to New York because people will buy it up.
Look what Havoc's trying to stick in there.
And he might be the only one in the world with one of those. Yeah. So congratulations.
I think he was just trying to stick that in there just to see if we were watching him.
Oh, we're watching that.
Yeah, we know better than that. But and like we were talking about on the DWX, man, I don't think we're going to see that thing until the middle of next year, or
I don't think you're ever going to see that thing.
And we very well might not. If they get it figured out, man, that'd be a fun as hell gun. Or maybe they're going to revamp it and make it dot ready, because I know a lot of people, when they were showing it, they're like, "Is it? You can have a dot version. You can have a dot version." So maybe they're going to engineer it with the dot compatibility or capability, and then.
And what about Lugo arms? What happened to the Alien?
Supposedly, I have a buddy of mine that has one on order, and he said that he's getting emails from them, and they are supposed to be coming, but because of the COVID, everything got jacked up over in that country, where they're importing them from, I guess Czech Republic or something. So they're having, that issue. But he said they've been keeping him updated, and he said now, for what he bought the gun for, he's already been offered, when it hits the States and he physically has it in his hand, he's already been offered over $10,000 for it by multiple people, not just one.
That's great.
And it's kind of funny. He has had an STI Combat Master, Terran Tactical one, like John Wick gun, and he sold it for 10 grand. He kept getting, the offers were just going sky high on it, and so he sold it for $10,000, and it was used. So I was like, holy crap! And then he bought another thing that he really wanted. So he's into the long range game, so he bought a pretty sweet long range rifle, another one. But yeah, well, it's 8 o'clock. I definitely want to. You have any closing thoughts you want us to go over?
Just want to say thanks for watching, everybody. I'm not exactly sure how many people showed up tonight, but it was nice to be able to get onto a chat and at least talk to people, and hopefully everybody's staying safe in our times of darkness right now. But never fear, because out of darkness there is always light, and hopefully we will be in the light soon enough. So
yeah, it shows we have 84 on here, so that's a good turnout. And before we go, Keith Gregory's talking about the Retro Glock Gen 1. Yeah, I saw that they re-released that, and also I guess the P80 Glock. I don't have any interest in either one of those. But and Kathleen, it wasn't a Glock that was worth $10,000. It was a STI. But still, I guess whatever someone wants to pay for something, hey. But I definitely want to thank everyone for being on. Hit that thumbs up. We love it. I'm glad 17 was was able to be on this time. With this moving thing, I know that can be a nightmare. But we will keep this rolling, and tune in next Wednesday. I might be hosting again, so he doesn't have to do it at the awesome hotel that he is.
Motel 6.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, but everyone stay safe out there, and hopefully I don't have the Rona, but I guess I'll find out soon, and we'll go from there. But appreciate y'all as always, and carry on, everyone.
All right, good luck, buddy.
Have a great night. Thanks.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.